Hi guys, it's Emma from EC Small Business. So Margaret's asked me if I could create a short video for you just to help with using her winter signpost builder. So I've just created a square document within Affinity to start with, and I'm going to start building from the bottom layer up. So I'm going to come over to the left-hand menu where I've got the Place Image tool, and I'm going to come into the winter signpost set. So it's not a huge difference whether you want to go for the JPEG or the PNG. I'm going to go into the JPEGs to start with. And as I'm in a square document, I am going to use one of Margaret's square designs. So let's go for this one here. So I can just select it and open down in the bottom right. And all I'm going to do is double click, and then that will pop that onto my canvas for me. Now, I like to use snapping when I'm in Affinity Designer. It just helps me to align things nicely. So it's just the magnet up the top here. If you just click it, that will turn it on. And then if I just click and drag, you can see I get the guidelines that come up to help me with aligning it. So I know that that is in the center of my canvas. If you would rather not use snapping, you can do it using alignment here. And so you could center it here and here and then apply, and that would do exactly the same thing. So there is my background, and you can see it on the right hand side here in my layers panel. So it's just one layer, which is the background to start with. So next I'm going to choose my lamppost. So I'm going to come back over to the Place Image tool, and this time I want the signposts. So I'm going to double click there. And I'm going to choose the signpost that I like. So I'm going to go here, and I'm just going to double click it. Now, if I don't want to double click, I can click and drag to insert it, and then I can size it as I like. But I find this sizes quite nicely. So there we are. That is in position. If I'm not happy with the size, I can just click on the corners and resize it. And I can also change my measurements down here, depending on your units. I like to have my aspect ratio locked just so I know I'm not stretching the lamppost, it's keeping it into proportion. So if you just click here, it turns it on and off for you. Also, if you're not happy with your units, if you come up to File and Document Setup, you can change your units within here. So document units, I've got millimeters, but you can change it to however you want to work. So I'm just going to click OK. So there is my lamppost in position. So now I'm going to add my first sign. So again, I'm going to come over to the left-hand menu to the Place Image tool. And I'm going to choose the sign that I would like. So I'm going to go for the blue sign. So I can either click it and open, or I can double click it. Now I'm going to double click it to insert it, because I am then going to add my snow as well. So the snow that I would like along the top of my sign. So if I come back to the Place Image tool, and I'm going to choose which of these snows I would like. So I'm just going to start with snow 1. And if I double click it again, so you can see in the layers panel here, I have the background that I inserted first. Then I have my signpost. Then I have the blue sign, and I have the snow. Now what I want to do is select both the snow and the signpost. So I'm going to select one, and then if I hold down the Shift key, I'm on a Windows computer, so it might be different on a Mac. And then I select blue as well. Now I can do that in the layers panel. I could also select them over here. I'm then going to come up to the top hand menu, and I want to align them both to the center, and I want to align them both to the middle. And then they are nicely aligned for you. Then you can resize them. So I can go ahead and group them here. So if I group them, then they are both together. You can see in the layers panel here, you have the snow and you have the sign, and they are together. If you wanted to release one of them from the group, you can just select it and right click and then release it, and then it will no longer be a part of that group. So from there, I can resize. If I select the whole group, I can resize. So as you can see there, if you've got just one element selected, it will resize that one. So you can just click Control and Z to go back, or equally, if you come up to Edit, you can undo up there. So I'm going to resize. I've done it again. So I'm going to select the whole group, and I'm going to resize to the size that I am happy with, and then move it to where I want it to be. So you can see, because my lamppost is right in the middle of my screen, you can see quite easily to center the sign. I'm going to make it a bit smaller though. Okay, and then I can add my text. So if I come to my frame text tool, you can do it with artistic text as well. I just quite like the frame text tool. And you can add your text. So let's go for the Martin family. I'm going to select all my text and resize it. Let's make it a bit smaller so that it fits on the sign nicely. Just going to zoom in. There we are. I'm just going to rotate it slightly so it looks more realistic. And I'm just going to move the text a little bit closer together. So if I do Alt and up arrow, just moves that the lines a bit closer together. Let's make it slightly smaller. There we are. Okay, and then if I want to select that and the sign to center them, then I can do that. I'm going to click group because I want it all to be all together, so that if I move the signpost, I want my text and everything to move as well. So let's pop that one there. So let's now add another signpost. So I'm going to click on the place image tool again, and let's go for a red one this time. So I'm just going to double click to insert it. I'm going to come to the place image tool, and I'm going to add some more snow and double click it. So I'm going to select my snow and my sign. I'm aligning them to each other. Now I'm going to do it slightly differently this time. I'm going to add my text at this stage. So if I insert my text box here, there we are. Let's make that a bit bigger. There we are. That's roughly centered as well. And so now I can select my text. If I hold down the Shift key, I'm going to select the snow. And if I keep holding down the Shift key and I select the sign red, I can group them all together, and then I can resize them. Now, because we've got text on this one, we've got a second little dot down here, which will rescale your text size to your overall design. So rather than shrinking the sign and still having massive text, it will shrink the text, so it's all still in proportion with each other. So I'm just going to hold down Shift, click on that, and then drag it in. And then I can move it, so I need it a little bit smaller again. if you want it to be exact, so if you click on the one above, so you can see over here that's 90.8 millimeters wide. I can select this and I can make this 90.8 millimeters wide just to get it exact. And then move that to where I am happy with. And then I can add another one, should I wish to. But now you know how to add the signposts. Say we then want to add a robin. So if I were to come to the place image tool and add the robin. Okay, now because I'd clicked somewhere else before I inserted it, my robin has actually gone behind my signposts. It's not behind the sign. So if you look in the layers panel here, well, let's start at the bottom and work our way up. So you can see I have the background that I inserted first, then I have the signpost, then the robin has ended up. Now I want the robin at the top. So I've got a couple of options. I can either come up to the top menu here and click move to front, which will move that right to the front for me, or I can drag it through the layers. So if I click it here, and I can just move it to the top and slot it in, and that's at the top as well. And then I can resize that to suit. So say we want it there. And then if we would like a snowy overlay, we can click back on the place image tool. And so because I'm using the square one, so I'm going to choose one of the square snows. So let's just click on this one. I'm just going to double click. And you can see this has actually ended up behind some layers as well. So if I see where it's gone, so I have my background here and then the snow has gone above it. Really, I want the snow in that top layer. So I'm going to click move to front, and then it's in front of everything. And I can move it around slightly if it is blocking some of my text. I can move it around slightly. Or equally, if I decide actually I don't like that overlay, I want to change it to another one. If I click on replace image up at the top, I can change it to another one. And it keeps it to exactly the same size that I've already had. And I can just move that around until I am happy. If I then wanted to add some text, I can do. I can play around with where I want things in the layers panel. But because you've got your signposts grouped together, if you decide to change the order of them or anything, that makes it quite easy to be able to move them without having to redo the text or anything. And if you have it created as a template and you want to come in and just change the names on it, that's also quite easy to do. By simply going to the group with the signpost that you want. If you click on the arrow, it will show you everything that is within that particular group. So then if you select the text and come over to it, so you can double click it to start editing. Or what I find easiest is if I select the text that I want to edit, if I then come over to text over here, the little toggle at the bottom, if I click there and click on artistic text, you can see the cursors just come up. So if I wanted to change that from the Martin family to the Collins family, that's easily done. And then I can do the same. So I can click on this arrow here to close it back up, just to keep your layers panel nice and tidy. I can then open up this group, click on Jamie, because that's the name that I want to change. I click on the little downward arrow here, artistic text, and I'm going to change that text to Elizabeth, and it keeps all the text size and everything for you, so it makes it fairly straightforward. So I do hope that helps. If you do want any more help with Affinity, I do have some Affinity tutorials over on EC Small Business, so do feel free to head over and join us over there. and have fun creating. It's such a versatile set that Margaret's created. I think lots of people will have lots of fun with this one. Enjoy!